Hello ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to another Access show taking a look at a brand new survival MMO called Last Oasis. This trailer debuted in January, I do believe, and it's been developed for a very long time now. Really excited about this one. It's got something special about it. I'm going to give you all the backstory, everything I know about this game, and it's coming out very soon, very soon. This game is bonkers. I want to show you and talk to you about this before it comes out. What is this game going to be like, and why you should be really excited if you're a big fan of big open PvP and survival.
In Last Oasis, what has happened is a planet has crashed into our moon and our Earth, and that's stopped the rotation. The last remaining people of humanity have had to build our walkers. They use these to migrate. We force our players through this. Your experience is constantly changing. You don't get to build a base, set it up, and just forget about it. You can pack that base onto your walker, not have to worry about getting raided when you're offline. You can come back on the next day, you can go to a whole nother map. And so your experience is changing and you are constantly fighting over new areas and new resources. And we're bringing this experience to the survival game genre with Last Oasis.
So that's an interview taken from GDC this year, only a month or so ago. Donkey Crew are the developers behind this game. They've been working on it for a number of years. So this isn't the Donkey Crew's first rodeo. They previously worked on a game called Of Kings and Men, an early access game that sadly didn't make it, with pretty much only 10 or 20% of the content actually ever worked on, due to some definite behind the scenes struggles with their publisher Green Man Gaming. They really had some issues. This is what I'm going off of a lot of Steam forums. So they've been out the limelight a while. They've clearly been working on this game for the last 2 years, and Of Kings and Men was removed from the Steam store page. Some people really upset. Obviously, just like any early access game, you risk putting money into something and then seeing it actually never work out. Hopefully this isn't going to be the same case with Last Oasis, and it's hopefully taught Donkey Crew a good lesson about who to trust in terms of helping you get your game up and running. Anywho, back to The Last Oasis and more information. There is literally only one safe spot between the very cold and the very hot sides of the planet, and that strip will move as the planet orbits the sun. And so that's why you're going to be able to pack up your base and literally take it on one of these mad sort of land ships. Best way I can describe it is something along the lines of a pirate game but on land. I've been keeping tabs on this one for a long time, but I just wanted to see how much more information we get about a release. And so I was really surprised to see that they are going into early access very soon. So what else can you expect? Well, apart from being able to build these huge contraptions, these land ships, you can do all the usual sort of things you would expect to find in a big survival MMO. Hunting, fishing, gathering resources. For people that don't like clanning up with huge tribes, there is a way for you to play this game, as you do level up and you can get better gear just by doing some of the simple things. One of the biggest factors of this game though is the water supply that everyone is going to be fighting over. Water is a big resource. So everything you'd normally expect to find, crafting armor, weapons, and of course building your bases, is going to be part of Last Oasis gameplay. But of course being a pirate is also part of it too. As you can see here, going at war against the other factions on these big contraptions and using these huge hooks that will swing you around to get on top of them. The combat is a big factor of this game, and they're taking the approach of mount and blade. Literally it will be directional combat, so depending on where you're swinging from or how you're hitting, that is what damage you will do. If you've seen Mordu recently, that's another game that takes a lot of focus on directional combat. So no just spamming the left trigger button, you are maybe going to have to think about your position and how you actually hit other players. So taking stuff by force or maybe trading with other players, that's a big component as well. You're going to be going across vast areas. The strip may be small, but the developers are working on a grid system. Maybe similar to Eve and Atlas, where it's almost seamless transitions from server to server. Not 100% sure if that's going to be the case once they launch though. It may be something a little bit smaller, something you're used to maybe seeing like playing games like Art Survival Evolved, where it's just one big map. But in the future it does look like they want to be able to migrate and add more grids so that you will be able to go to different areas and different maps. And you will need to, as they've said, the sun is a dangerous entity. If you don't move, you are facing the chances of your world becoming dry and barren. I really like that aspect as well. Imagine playing a survival game where you have to literally keep changing and moving your base, because if you stay there, it literally will start burning. Now these walkers are going to be really important. Clearly this is a time that's moved on from when man had lots of technological advances. Now it's all about these mechanical structures and these frames. But don't worry, they're not necessarily complicated to make, using pretty much simple basic forms like wood, sails, etc. And yes, you will be able to pat this off. You won't have to worry about your base being raided offline. One of the biggest worries, and probably one of the worst gaming mechanics I've seen in recent years, forcing players to play games for long extended periods of time, or feeling that they can't actually enjoy the rest of the game because they're so worried about being raided. It does look like you are going to be able to take your ill-gotten gains or your good resources that you've managed to harvest to trading stations and trade it in for currency. There is going to be plenty of biomes as well. Don't worry, it's not going to be just dusty Saharas. And of course, if I've got anything wrong, I do apologise. This is going off everything I've learned while being in their Discord, taking a look at their social media, and of course trying to keep up with any blog posts they've been doing. In terms of weapons and what you're going to be using, it is looking a bit more basic. You're not necessarily going to be running around for assault rifles, but it does look like there is repeaters and lots of high firing crossbows, that sort of style weaponry. Of course, melee is going to be a big focus too. For them big Ark fans out there, there is currently no taming going on in the game. I really do think this game is going to suit the people that really enjoy the PvP aspects. While for sure it doesn't look like you have to engage in PvP, I don't see there as being much more to do rather than just maybe a little bit of casual hunting and just gathering resources. So for PvE players, this game may not be the one you're looking for. You are going to be leveling up in the game, but so far isn't any perks. Of course, it's the start of early access, so I'm sure there's going to be many changes to come, and there's no guarantee it might not appear on an Xbox or PlayStation in the future, but I can pretty much guarantee right now that will be the next generation of consoles. You will be leveling up, but it's not necessarily a case of you putting points into stamina or swim speed. It's more a case of unlocking progress as you go. So one of the biggest resources you might be fighting over is water, and you can carry it in a variety of different ways. Taking a little scan over some of the screenshots and what you can expect, the game really is looking pretty decent. The lush biomes look like they are got a lot of life in them too. Following their Twitter account, it seems they've been showing lots of screenshots, lots of clips. You can see all this foliage here, looks pretty lush and green. I love worlds that really feel alive, and you see animals and creatures attacking you too. And also the devs do have a good sense of humour, it seems. It does look like you are going to be facing off against lots of creatures as well though, so don't worry, if you're not taming them, there's definitely going to be other things to kill other than just players. This is only just a little gift, but I really like the way the mechanics are with the swinging action. Reminds me a lot of Pathfinder and Apex Legends, and of course I'm sure you guys have played plenty of games where running around using a crossbow and a grappling hook is pretty fun. There's going to be all sorts of crazy looking contraptions and different style crafting benches, and that's what I really like the look of. I feel like Last Oasis is absolutely a huge breath of fresh air. Not just a bog standard crafting bench, iron forge or something simple like that. Really going out of its way to make what they're doing very different. And of course the walkers themselves are absolutely crazy things too, with a real focus on the different style turrets and firing mechanisms that you've got. Ranging from everything from firing repeater style arrows from a big huge crossbow to something that looks like it fires more of a bomb or arrow tipped explosives. Now using the wind and the sails to your advantage is going to be important, and so by shredding it looks like the other walkers' sails, that's how you can actually determine whether or not you're going to stop them. And once of course the enemy is stopped, you can then start boarding them and attacking the players. The sun plays the biggest role in the lives of nomads roaming through the desert in search of oases. It is the sun that drives all the remaining people to move and annihilates everyone left behind. After mysterious long forgotten events that caused the earth to stop rotating, humans are forced to live on a slim strip of land, constantly moving as the planet orbits the fiery star. As the habitable zone keeps moving slowly, so does life on Earth. The only known remaining city, the Flotilla, was built on wooden legs many years ago. Its vast platforms host everyone from beggars trying to survive to famous nomad captains, to higher society of rich and powerful hiding from the scorching sun in the cool shadows of the walking settlement. The ones not living on the safe decks of the flotilla are called nomads. Unlike the steadily moving city, their lives have a different pace. Nomads roam the deserts on walkers, large wooden machines that walk powered by the winds. These adventurers are always in search of plentiful oases to extract as many valuables as possible before the obliterating sun burns all the life behind them. They fight for land and resources, create powerful alliances and pirate the weak. They transport the goods and establish trade routes. They gain wealth and power unimaginable to common flotillans. And they die under the killing rays of the sun. Constantly in danger, players are going to be grazed by death just to add some flots to their coffers. You will make your own decisions every step of the way on the road to greatness, but greatness is defined differently for each nomad. Wealth, political power, land, trading opportunities, combat fame, or anything else you might have on Ion is there for the taking. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to read too much more of that. I will leave the beta link in the description box down below if you want to take a look at it yourself. So very hyped for this. It's in its 4th wave beta, I do believe, at the moment. That's a good sign, and it seems like the betas have been going well and consistently over the last few weeks. The fact it's also in beta and it's about to approach early access as well, it bodes well. So I'm really excited about Last Oasis. Definitely going to be showing you this one, keeping an eye on it and keeping you guys up to date. Maybe a little bit more MMO than you're used to if you're playing survival games. And for MMO players, it may not necessarily be the whole MMO that you're used to. It's kind of a cross between. But for sure, I'm going to keep you guys all in the loop about what exactly is going on with this one. If you want to know about everything to do with survival games, indie and early access stuff, then make sure you've got notifications turned on. Until next time, Ratbags, I will see you later.